CrazyDelaney here, coming at you once again from YouTube, which has reinstated Mark Bunker. Victory, and once again another defeat for Scientology. It's what happens when you mess with the internet and try to squelch free speech. I'd like to talk about Dianetics today. And, well, let's think of it this way, folks. Scientology is a corvair, a spiritual corvair. And we're Ralph Nader telling people not to buy the damn thing. I'm only speaking for myself here, but I am sick of the undue deference that Scientology gets as a religion. We aren't talking about Kabbalah here, or Sufi Islam, or some other mystical, magical, theological system. And once again, I'm only speaking for myself, but I'm not going to show it undue deference simply because my country, the United States of America, gives it tax-exempt status. The way I see it, I'm doing my best to do the public a service. They ought to know what they might potentially be shelling out all this cash for, or taking out a second mortgage on their house. And they ought to get a critical view of what people are being fair gamed over. So that's what motivates me to do what's been done to the Bible, the Quran, and every other holy text. I'm going to examine it. That's what I'm going to do. And that's why I've decided to tackle Dianetics, the modern science of mental health, with my mighty and manly pink highlighter pen, and share my discoveries and insights into the text as a lay person. Now, forgive the use of the phrase fair game, but I believe the text of this book is fair game because of the incredible, earth-shaking, head-exploding, first time you saw Michael Jackson do the moonwalk type claims made in it. Hubbard says in the first chapter of Dianetics that empires have collapsed for want of a science of the mind. He says Rome was chopped up by the trash compactor of history, my words, not his, because of the lack of a science of the mind. And China, Hubbard liked Chinaman, China swims in blood for the need of it. And forgive me for the use of the word Chinaman, that was inappropriate. Hubbard said it at one time. China swims in blood for need of it. Well, Hubbard found that science, and basically, it will save us from a nuclear holocaust. Nuclear holocaust. Really, I am not kidding. This is not a distortion of the text on my part. If you don't believe me, and, don't believe me, just, don't believe everything you hear, definitely go ahead and check out the text. It can be found in the first chapter titled The Scope of Dianetics. Now, I'll leave you to judge whether Dianetics has the power to prevent a nuclear holocaust or not. But I believe it's important to know what people are being fair gamed over, and I believe the public should as well, hence the videos I will do on Dianetics. I will not make it the sole content of my channels, but this is something that I am going to be doing as I progress through the text, and I will also do the same with Science of Survival. there are a couple of statements in Dianetics that I'd like to throw at you for your consideration. Hubbard talks about Dianetics, and he says, and I quote, "It is an organized science of thought built on definite axioms." And he says in parentheses, "statements of natural laws on the order of those of the physical sciences." He also goes on to say that the single source of mental derangement is discovered and demonstrated, now pay attention kids, on a clinical or laboratory basis by Dianetics. And he also goes on to say that the field of cytology, which is the study of cells, is aided by Dianetics as well as other fields of research. Now, you see, boys and girls, Markavians, from my reading of this, Hubbard ain't asking for the faith of the Christian or the Muslim or the Jew or whatever team you happen to play for or don't play for. But he is saying that the things contained within this text are observable in the here and now. They can be tested. They can be touched. Even as far back as the introduction, where Hubbard instructs us on how to read his opus of self-help. He says that the discoveries and developments which made the formulation of Dianetics possible occupied many years of exact research and careful testing. My question is very simple. Has anyone ever seen this research? Are Scientologists shown Hubbard's high-level research that he did that led him to the revolutionary discoveries about the human mind? I mean, the way I see it, and this is my opinion, Scientology owes Scientologists that courtesy of seeing the research, if it does indeed exist, simply because of the money that they've shelled out and the incredible amount of time and energy that they've invested in Hubbard's spiritual technology. You know, like I said, he isn't asking for blind faith. He's saying that this stuff is observable. And he's saying that there's research, so, you know, people ought to be able to see that research. Is that so much to ask? Is that heresy? Sadly it is. And I'm engaging in a heretical act right now in this video. I am questioning source, which is something Scientologists aren't allowed to do. Bridge to total freedom. Bridge to total freedom. Let that phrase wash over you a couple times. Let it stick in your brain like the ice picks Hubbard was so fond of talking about when he was talking about lobotomies. Bridge to total freedom. I may not be a clear or an OT, but I am exercising a freedom you, as a Scientologist, if you're watching this video, will never ever have. And maybe it's just me, but it seems to me that there's something terribly, terribly wrong with that. Total freedom? Doesn't total freedom mean, well, total freedom? The freedom to question this book? Sounds like false advertising to me. Think about that long and hard, but don't think about it during a sec check. Show me a mother violating clear indeed. But that is a whole other rabbit hole to travel down. Until next time, peace, victory, and as always, drive safe. CrazyDelaney out.